Hello, my name is Benjamin Dryden, and today I will be discussing the difficulty level to enter dental school versus medical school and how they're more similar than people think. I'll also be discussing how the cost of dental school has been increasing exponentially over the past few years. And I will also be discussing the cost for in-state versus out-of-state applicants and their chances of getting into out-of-state schools. This information is relevant to those who want to be dentists in the future and also pre-med students who are maybe interested in the dental field. So, entering to dental school, is it possible and will you be considered a doctor from an academic and a financial standpoint? Academics, how much do they really matter? Since there are fewer dental schools in the United States, and there are only 66 to be exact, the schools must be selective with who they accept and who they reject. Students in the field underestimate the difficulty that comes along with maintaining a high GPA while taking advanced science courses. This chart from the American Dental Education Association shows that the percentage of prospective dental students drops from 47% to just 18% by the time they're thinking about graduating. Many students do not realize the importance of GPA when it comes to being accepted, so the freshman and sophomore years are littered with bad grades. Despite dental school being titled as easier to get into than medical school, the requirements are far more similar than they imagine. In this chart, it shows the mean science GPA for dental school students that get accepted. And as you can see, the average is around 3.5 to 3.6 across the board for all these dental schools that are displayed here. For example, you see the Texas schools, 3.63, 3.58, and 3.73. And when we go to the medical schools, you see the average is around 3.5 also for them, which is the same or lower than most dental schools. And if we look at Texas specifically, the GPA average for medical schools in Texas is lower than all of the Texas schools when put into perspective. This data can be used to show that dental school is just as hard, if not harder, to get into than medical school, despite some people discrediting them by calling them not real doctors. Let's say you were accepted. How much are you going to end up paying at the end? As the years go on, tuition for dental school has been increasing at an alarming rate for both in-state and out-of-state students. One individual who graduated from UCLA School of Dentistry in 2003 says he graduated with $92,000 of debt for all 4 years of school. And in the year 2023, he will graduate with a debt of $407,495 from the same school. If you adjust the numbers for inflation, the $92,000 debt would be about $160,000 in today's money, which is more than half of what students are being forced to pay. Is there a real reason behind these tuition increases? In an article I found, the tuition being raised during the economic crisis of 2007 and 2008 made sense to keep the schools afloat when state support fell, but a continual increase while state support has returned is confusing. Two institutions who suffered from a lack of state support increased their tuition, one of them by 8% and the other by 58% from 2014 to 2018. When the dean of the school was asked further questions about the 58% increase, their response was that it was unwise of them to question tuition, and answering will hurt their overall message. Because of this, there is no real reason that can be attributed to the cost increase, so the question remains unanswered. The cost of attending in-state versus out-of-state. As with most upper-level educations, the cost of attending a school out of your state can be pricey, and dental school is no exception. Since there aren't dental schools in every state, some students are forced to take on the exorbitant costs of an out-of-state tuition. Another issue with this is that some schools have a high preference for in-state applicants. As an example, the UT Health School of Dentistry in Houston accepts a ratio of 90% in-state and 10% out-of-state students. Looking at our graphs here, the in-state yearly cost versus the out-of-state shows that some schools really do make the out-of-state students pay a lot compared to the in-state. For example, if we look at our University of Alabama at Birmingham, an in-state resident will pay a total of $244,000 by the end of their 4 years, when a student from out of state will pay over $400,000 for the same education. Or another example over here, Southern Illinois University, $244,000 for an in-state resident, when it's over 400,000 for a out-of-state resident. Looking across the board here, you can see that some schools have the same rate for in-state and out-of-state students, while some of them have very high differences, like this school, University of Missouri at Kansas City. Some of these tuitions for non-out-of-state residents can even reach the $500,000 mark, which is already too much for most people. Looking at the acceptance rates for in-state applicants versus out-of-state applicants, looking at, let's see, Southern Illinois University again, only 12% of applicants were in-state and only 2% of them were out-of-state applicants that were accepted. Some schools very much prefer in-state, when the University of Nevada at Las Vegas, where 54% of in-state students were accepted and only 2.3% out-of-state students were accepted. Some schools are outliers where they accept about an average of 8% out-of-state applicants, like New York University and University of Missouri, Kansas City, which accepts less than 50% in-state applicants, but still you can see that the highest percentage you'll get is about 8.2% for out-of-state. If you live in a state that does not have a dental school, you'll be forced to attend an out-of-state school, which can get pricey at times. In conclusion, dental schools that are in your state will be priced reasonably, but if you live in a state that does not have a dental school, you may not have a chance to get in because of the cost will be so high. And by the end of it, you'll be maybe regretting your chance. Thank you.